Welcome everyone. This is Dr. Sashikala. Now, the topic which we are going to deal with in today's lecture is a very interesting topic. We have been dealing with various ethical topics, but today we are going to turn to self. We are going to look at our inner self. So what is the topic I am going to deal with today? It is self-knowledge. How many of us can truthfully say that we know about ourselves? We usually rely on others' opinion to know our characteristics. But have we ever done a self-analysis? Do we actually know what are the characteristics we have in ourselves? So in today's lesson, we will be seeing what self-knowledge is. But before moving into self-knowledge, here I want to talk of emotions. Now humans, when we live in a society with other people, we naturally experience various things in our life. This is where our emotions are always affected by our life incidents. Now emotional intelligence is claiming much importance now in this modern era. So what is emotional intelligence? This is where you receive stimulus or inputs from the outside world and how you respond with your own feelings. So emotional intelligence encompasses perceiving, understanding others' emotions and also managing your own emotions. So this is where a human being is constantly on the receiving end of others' behaviors. So first we have to analyze their actions and their emotions involved, and we should also be able to use our own emotions and also to manage it. So this is where emotional intelligence assumes primary importance. Now when we have emotional intelligence, this is where you will naturally have self-awareness also. So this is where self-knowledge topic comes in. You have self-awareness, you deal with people, you exhibit your social skill by regulating your own emotions. You also show empathy towards other people and constantly motivate self. So emotional intelligence is an area where most of us don't concentrate much on. So this defines the relationship you have with other people and also enables you to know how to manage your own emotions. So every human being should learn emotional management skills. We constantly relate with other people. This is where to people and incidents we are always interacting and reacting. And also for us to be successful both in personal relationships as well as in professional relationships, we need to manage our emotions. This would make us successful in career as well as in personal relationships. And also, managing the emotions can also produce positive results in professions. This is where you regulate your emotional response. You react only in places where you have to. At other times, you manage and control your own emotions. We spontaneously react to situations. That is where our responses should be controlled, whereby we know when to react and when not to show our emotions. So emotional management skills help us to regulate our emotions according to demanding situations. Now, as I said, for you to know how to manage your emotions, first you need to have self-awareness. What is emotional self-awareness? First and foremost, you are able to understand a present situation as well as to predict the possible outcomes in the future. Always we should ensure that we are prepared for some unlikely event in the future. So predict, assist, and also know how people react to you. When we predict people's reactions, we can definitely improve our own responses. That is where emotional intelligence aids self-awareness. The second point I can say for emotional management is reflection. Now, as I said, instead of having a spontaneous reaction, we need to reflect. We have to understand how our reaction is going to reflect on others. So discover certain reactions in people where you separate the emotions from the situation and do not act spontaneously. Before you react, reflect on how your actions can have an impact on the others. The next one where I can emotionally manage is to have acceptance. Now, people react in a particular way always. We can predict that human action is spontaneous. But how do you react? This is where you have to first allow your rational side to rule your emotions. Understand how your actions or reactions are going to reflect on others. So always have empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is where you understand other people's feelings and emotions. So before you react, consider how other people will be affected by your reactions. Have empathy for the people, whereby don't feel justified that you are right in showing your emotions to a particular situation or a person, but understand how it is going to affect them when you react. We always like to be treated well. Similarly, we should also understand that others want to be also treated well. So have empathy for others and first reflect and accept that other people are as equally important as you. This is where you will know which emotions to show to other people. Like you'd like to be treated well, expect that others also expect the same response from you. So accept that people are the most important in relationships and reflect and manage your emotions. The next skill I would say in emotional intelligence is perspective. This is where you understand other people's point of view and manage your emotions accordingly. Like you have empathy, understand what they need from you and control your emotions in the same way. This is where your emotions can have a healthy response. You have empathy for the other person, you reflect how they would feel, and when you expose your emotions in the right way, you would see that a healthy relationship will also develop through a healthy response from the other person. So definitely to accomplish tasks, you need to understand perspectives or point of view of your reactions. Already I have highlighted empathy for you. This is a most important skill I would say that humans need to develop. We just move on with situations, sometimes sympathizing with other people's difficulties. We never stop to take part in their problems. This is where emotional management would enable you to develop an empathetic attitude where you do not just sympathize for their problems, you are also able to feel their own emotions. This you should understand would help us to develop good relationships whereby you feel their pain as your own. Every one of us have some life experiences. So always understand others' perspectives and try to control your emotions. This is where I would say emotional management skills are very important for a person to be self-knowledgeable. So when you are in tandem with other people, you know their situation, you know what response they expect from you, you will understand their feelings and create solutions rather bring in new problems. So make sure that you are able to manage your emotions well. Now let's move to our topic, self-knowledge. A person who is self-aware is one who has self-knowledge. And also understand that knowing self is the very first step for self-development. If I know what type of a person I am, then naturally I will be able to walk on the path of improvement. This is where consciously make a self-analysis, understand all the positive and negative attitudes in you, because knowing oneself would enable us to improve our positive attitudes and to reduce the negatives we have in us. So self-knowledge will definitely be the beginning of self-improvement. So let us see some aspects of self-knowledge. As I said, emotional intelligence works primarily for self-knowledge, where you understand your own mental state and also understand how your emotions shape your personality and your behavior. This is where self-knowledge would also enable you to ask the question, who am I? First, ponder on this question. You are not just the name given to you. You are a person. So I would ask myself the question, what am I like? When I ask the question, who am I? It naturally tells the behaviors you adopt. So what am I like? This is where you develop self-awareness as well as self-consciousness. Without understanding oneself, we can never improve relationships around us. Now, what are the aspects which goes into the features of what you are? This will include information like your personality traits. Science says that we do inherit qualities from our ancestors, especially our parents. But also science denies that hereditary is the only aspect of a person's personality. Environment also shapes characters. And also we are influenced by the environment for our own emotional states. And also we live to achieve our needs and goals. So that is where also you need to have self-knowledge. Now, what are the opinions and values you develop in life according to situations and experiences you have? You might have certain beliefs relating to your religion or the place you live in, as well as personal preferences. Now, also we should understand that our physical appearance too contributes to our personality. How confident are you in posing your personality towards others? And also the importance you give to relationships. So this is where you have certain behavioral patterns which enables you to live in a society. We always try to create a social identity. This is where self-awareness of all these factors would improve your self-knowledge. So self-knowledge simply means understanding one's own inner qualities, one's character, their abilities, their motivation, and all other factors. So keep this in mind. First, make a self-analysis. Now, how to make the self-analysis? How do we know who we are? This is where we can adopt a process by which we do a careful and unbiased self-analysis. First, be self-reflective. Understand who you are. Think of your attitudes and behaviors you have exposed so far. This is where you need to be very critical about yourself. On the other hand, you also have to take the opinions shown or given by others. How do people react to you? So this is a process where you can take certain words or opinions said by others and relate it to your own opinion. So collect evidence externally and superimpose on the impression you have of your own self-reflection. This is where I can have a rating scale. How do I know about myself? I know who I am, but that alone is not sufficient because sometimes we might be unconsciously reflecting certain attitudes which only others can observe. So put a rating scale where on one side you have your own self-opinion and on the other side you take opinions from others, that is from the society. So this is where self-rating versus others' ratings should be done. Now how can I do that? This is where you have to see in relationships with different people. How in each relationship you maintain, people react to you. What are the positives and negatives they have said about you? Put them on one side. On the other side, you have to do a self-analysis where this would involve what others expect from you. Now we react not just to responses, we also sometimes react to the fear we have about our future. This is where sometimes we do things or say things without reflection, and also fear motivates us to do things sometimes which is not liked by other people. So do a self-analysis where you rate your attitudes based on others' perception. This is what we call as prospection. Understand who you are. Be critical in understanding your qualities and behaviors, as well as take into account other people's opinion. So always rate your personality by self as well as by others' rating. Now, after you have rated your qualities and features, what am I going to gain from that? This is where I need to definitely know that there are various benefits which should prompt you to take up a self-analysis to improve your self-knowledge. This naturally, I would say, trains your brain. That is where you will have a healthy functioning of your brain, and also this would lead you to predict your behavior in future. Self-knowledge helps us in better decision making. You will be able to react to situations according to the need. That is where you will become self-realistic also. You would definitely improve your relationship with the people around you. The way you understand yourself will make people reflect and respond also in the same way. So improve your qualities which you know are liked by others, whereby you can have compatible friends. Now we cannot always react in the way people like or expect. I too cannot always accept people with their behaviors, but I should be able to strike a balance where I do what others expect me to do in the right sense, and also I am able to accept other people's behavior even if it is not very good. So you will develop good compatible relationships with other people where you project your own opinion as well as you are able to accept other people's attitudes. Now this is where first adopt this attitude as a student. This is where in education it should be where you train self for your future life. So career alone is not the important one for education. It should be self-reflection and self-development of your personality. This is where you will be able to predict people's actions also. That's why I said self-knowledge leads you to predict the future, the situations and how people will react to it. In that way you can definitely control the actions of other people and relieve your own stress and anxiety. Because I know I am such a person. I am not just an individual who can always show my behavior. It has to be with others' feelings also. So when you develop empathy, where you have the self-knowledge as to how people will react to your responses, you will behave in a proper way. You do not just selfishly behave, you will behave as others expect you to. That is where the relationship would be very compatible. You would always be able to control situations around you, and you would naturally reduce your anxiety and depression. So always make sure that you understand the benefits you are going to gain from self-knowledge. Okay, I have here told you to develop your self-awareness. I have explained here how you have to rate yourself by also considering others' opinions, and also I told you the benefits of self-knowledge. So how to get started with self-knowledge? Now first I would say, look at yourself from the outside, as another person would look at you. So be objective. Don't let your emotions come in and say, I am always a good person. This is where we go wrong in deciding our personality. Look critically and objectively at yourself and decide what are the positives and negatives you have in you. Sometimes it would even help you to have a paper, draw a column in the middle of the page where you have two sides where you start looking at yourself critically and put in the positives on one side and the negatives on the other. This is where I said keep a journal. Put it down in writing. Now, if this is reviewed often, you take it after a few days. You review. Now, what is the purpose of writing down? This is where I should be constantly striving to improve all the good behaviors which I have in myself. If I look objectively and know that I do have certain attitudes which would not be compatible with others, I should try to change those attitudes. So review this journal frequently. See what are the situations you had utilized to improve yourself and what are the situations you had utilized whereby you were able to correct yourself. So be objective and write a journal. Now, not just analyzing your present qualities would help you, but also to predict, as I said, in future, what are the things you need to do to improve. So self-development can come only through self-knowledge. Prioritize. What is your immediate as well as your future long pending goals? Plan accordingly. Set priority and start working on it rigorously. And also, as I said, daily self-reflection. At the end of the day, before you go to bed, reflect what had happened in the day. Think whether you behaved accurately and correctly. Understand whether you were able to diffuse certain difficult situations because you had behaved properly. Reflect if you had not behaved properly also, if there had been some problem with others. So self-reflection, which is done every day, would help you to improve your self-awareness. And also, meditation. This is a very useful activity which would help you to calm and control your mind, which in case would also reflect your behavior with others. This is where you control your emotions by doing meditation, which would not be spontaneously reflected in others' behavior. You behave well when you do meditation, and naturally people will not have the heart to even hurt you or behave badly with you. And also, mindfulness habits. What is this mindfulness? Where consciously you develop certain habits in you. This is how you get a rounded personality. Constantly we need to strive to improve the right attitudes in us. And sometimes it is also very useful to take some predefined psychometric tests or even personality tests. You know that these tests are available online. You can simply go to such a website, take up such tests, rating your own self, and then try to improve that rating on the positive side frequently. And also, sometimes we can rely on our friends' opinion also. Ask them to comment on your behavior. Ask them frank opinions about you. That in itself would help you to know who you are. So we are not just an individual, we are living in a society as a social being. So I cannot always go by my own opinion. I definitely need to take other people's opinion also to understand who I am. Okay? And finally, feedback. Get feedback from everyone you meet in your life, with whom you are living. Both at home, with your family members, as well as with people in your workplace. So always constantly ask feedback. This would help you to understand who you are. Now, is that all? Self-awareness, as I said, is a key to success. So do this constantly. This is not just a once-in-a-life activity. This should be continuously done every day. Without self-awareness, there is no self-development definitely. So your success is both in your personal relationship as well as in your workplace relationship. So if you improve your self-knowledge of who you are, you will be successful everywhere. So start doing this from today. Understand who you are. Develop all the right attitudes in you, because only self-awareness will enable you to be successful in life. Okay, so I will just here sum up why self-knowledge is important. You need to objectively evaluate yourself. You will be able to better manage your emotions if you know who you are and your values. That is most important to have a good personality. All the basic moral values should be there, and you should be able to control your behavior accordingly. And also, always think of what other people think of you, how other people perceive you, because relationship is mutual. Though you can say that I should not always understand how other people think of me, I should definitely give importance to relationships. So this is where you can control people and things around you, where you do not get into trouble and you are able to maintain good relationship with others. You will see that self-knowledge will definitely influence better outcomes. You will be the master of your own life. You will be able to align your behavior with what other people expect. Definitely, it will remove most of the stress in your life. So know how to manage your emotions. Already I did speak of emotional intelligence. Through emotional intelligence, develop your self-awareness. By this, you would definitely be able to avoid stress in life and lead a happy life. So happiness is based on self-reflection and self-awareness. All the rest would help you in your personality development and be a happy person. This is where you know who you are, you develop an identity which is in line with other people. You will be able to satisfy your aspirations and goals in life, and also you will definitely improve the quality of your life. Now, this is the human capital you can invest now. Happiness in life is not based on money. It is based on the relationships we build with people. So continue to bring out your potential, whereby you are able to build good relationships around you and progress in the path of self-development. Now, after knowing so much about self-development, are these the only benefits you have got? Whereby you are able to control your actions according to the relationships you have with you? Let me give you another fact. Self-knowledge would also enable you to know what Swadharma is. Now, what is this word Swadharma? This is a word which the Bhagavad Gita talks about. Lord Krishna, when he was trying to persuade Arjuna, who was in a very confused state of mind, to take up his Swadharma, he talks a lot about Swadharma. So what is Swadharma? Let us look into the features of Swadharma. This is where you conduct yourself or do your duty according to your own ability. Okay? You know that Lord Krishna talks a lot about Karma Yoga, doing one's duty. So this is where you uphold righteousness in your life, you conduct yourself lawfully and according to your ability. That is where Swadharma relies on self-awareness. You know what are your strengths, your abilities as well as your weaknesses. You improve these two, your strengths and abilities, and naturally should control and minimize your weakness. So Swabhava, what is Swabhava? It is your own self. This is where Swadharma or doing one's duty depends on self-knowledge. Everyone has certain attitudes and abilities in us. But how to improve them and to make them help us in relationships with others? This is where first understand your natural personality, that is the innate personality as we say, because Swabhava is one's own real nature. You are what you are, shaped by the hereditary of your ancestors and family, as well as the influences of the society around you. So what you do through self-knowledge is your improvement or development in future. But first understand your Swabhava or who you are. This Swabhava is what dictates your behavior with this entire universe. This is how it enables you to interact with the society at large. So our actions are determined by our own swabhava, which in turn will be reflected on one's swadharma. So self-knowledge leads to swadharma. Let me explain something more about swadharma. Everyone has their own personality. We cannot always change our personality according to others' expectations. But keep in mind that what you do with your basic personality is what will decide your karma, your actions. So swabhava should first be studied. That's where I gave you the question. First, find out who you are. Who am I? Because swabhava will guide you to do your actions, which in turn, the karma, the actions you do, which should be definitely guided by dharma. That is where understanding self will help you to walk on the path of dharma. So when you have self-knowledge, you will be able to decide which is the right path for you to choose based on dharma. So to be on the path of swadharma, to do your actions, first of all I need to understand my swabhava. That is where self-knowledge comes in. And for you as a student, what is your swadharma? This is what Lord Krishna speaks of a lot in the Bhagavad Gita. He talks of swadharma. What is the duty of a soldier? That's the question he asks Arjuna. You are a Kshatriya, you are a warrior. What is your swadharma? It is your swadharma to fight. Don't look at the people before you as just your friends and relatives. You are here to do your swadharma. For you as a soldier, you have to fight. Now for you as students, what is your swadharma? It is for you to study well. If I am a doctor, my swadharma is to save lives. So everyone has a duty in life. That is what Lord Krishna calls as swadharma. You have to do your duty according to the role you have in your life. Now how will you be able to do your swadharma? Only if you know your own self. Self-analysis helps us to understand also not just our qualities and personality, but also what is our duty, our karma in life. So Lord Krishna speaks of swadharma as humanitarianism. He says that's where Bhagavad Gita advocates the practice of swadharma or personal dharma, which is the dharma applicable to our context. Everyone, when they are born, they are a child. Next stage, they move into the society where they become a father or a mother. They become an employee, and finally they reach their old age where they will have other relationships. So according to the context in life, our personal dharma should guide us. This is where we have the situation, the maturity as well as the profession in life coming in. So this swadharma will be changing constantly according to our context. As a student, I have to study well. As a child, I have to behave well to my parents. As a human being in society, I have to know how to relate with other people. So this is where I have different situations in life. So our swadharma also changes naturally according to the context in life, and also when you have self-analysis, self-knowledge, you will naturally grow also spiritually. So this is the basic essence of swadharma. So the Bhagavad Gita constantly talks of actions to be done consciously. That is where self-knowledge will help you to do your actions in the right way consciously, according to the situation you are in and also according to one's true nature. Always keep in mind that you are a good person. Tell yourself that you have the best personality in the world, where you constantly strive to improve the qualities in you. You consciously do your actions according to your good personality, whereby the situation is also right for it. So one's swabhava defines one's swadharma, and for the individual to develop their swabhava, this is where self-discovery or self-analysis is very important. First, know who you are. Find out the qualities which are there in you. Define your qualities and make sure your swadharma is also executed appropriately. you should be able to live to the best of your ability. Always self-knowledge helps us in self-development. And your swadharma, your actions, your karma should also be shaped whereby you create no problems in life. So swadharma enables people to leverage, to improve their strengths. Even if there are problems in life, even if you face a hurdle in life, your personality, improved by your self-knowledge, would enable you to do your actions or your swadharma accordingly in the life. So this is what Bhagavad Gita preaches about swadharma, where swadharma is possible, that is self-dharma, self-actions. That is possible only through self-awareness. According to situations which change every day, we need to know how to behave. So keep this thought in mind, that self-knowledge is a staircase, you can say. Every day, your knowledge of self would enable you to improve yourself in the next day, whereby you would reach definitely a pinnacle of self-achievement, whereby you are unique. You make every person around you like you, to aid you in your progress, and definitely you will come to a final stage where development is based on your self-knowledge. So keep all these thoughts which I gave you. Start with your self-analysis now. Grade yourself as a person who can improve every day with all the right qualities by suppressing all the negative beliefs and attitudes you have in you, so that every day of our life is a progress to self-development. Thank you, everyone.